Welcome. It is Verdict with Ted Cruz, a weekend review. Ben Ferguson with you, and here are some of the stories that you may have missed that we talked about this week. First up, the Democratic Party as a whole, they've made it clear they are now the anti-law enforcement party. And their leader, Barack Obama, well, he says it's totally fine to go against ICE agents with new disparaging remarks. We have that for you in a second. Also, Gavin Newsom got his feelings hurt and decided to hit back at Senator Cruz, now claiming a disability. Dyslexia is his excuse. Yes, this isn't a joke, and we'll play it for you. And finally, Tucker Carlson's in Israel, and it didn't go very well, especially one of his big lies. It's the Weekend Review, and it starts right now. This is interesting, and this is where I've been saying this a lot over and over again, especially in TV. The Democratic Party as a whole is anti-law enforcement. It's not just the AOCs of the party. A perfect example of this being part of their platform center is Barack Obama doing a podcast this week, and he is, I would argue, blessing the Democratic movement, right? The Marxist, Socialist, and Communists. You've got my blessing. I'm probably one of the biggest names in the Democratic Party, if not the biggest name of the elder statesmen now that people listen to. I'm giving my blessing that you can attack ICE agents now, and this is a platform of the DNC.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, let's give a listen to what he had to say.
The rogue behavior of agents of the federal government is deeply concerning and dangerous. The sort of behavior that in the past we've seen in authoritarian countries and we've seen in dictatorships, but we have not seen in America.
I mean, you're calling ICE agents who are just enforcing the law rogue agents. That is from a former 8-year president and the leader of the Democratic Party still.
Yeah, no, that is exactly right. By the way, that same message was conveyed by Gavin Newsom in Munich. Give a listen to Gavin Newsom. We'll talk about these two together.
But I want to remember all those images of masked men, the secret police, something familiar in Germany. Those first images came out of my state, the second largest city in the United States of America. We saw 4,000 National Guard federalized. First time, we'd never seen anything like this. And 700 active duty Marines sent not overseas, but to the second largest city in the United States of America, militarizing the streets of my city. Masked men showing up, unaccountable.
Let's be very clear, Senator. That is Gavin Newsom comparing American law enforcement to Nazis.
Yep. Which, by the way, is what Obama was doing, too. By the way, just like AOC and Whitmer, Newsom is apparently thoroughly historically illiterate. He said we've never seen National Guards federalized in the states. I guess his history book does not discuss the civil rights movement. He's never heard of a president named Dwight D. Eisenhower. He's never heard of sending the National Guard into southern states when Democrats who refused to desegregate schools resisted. Eisenhower sent the National Guard in. The pattern is the same. In this instance, you have Democrats who are saying we refuse to comply with federal immigration law. Then you had in the 50s and 60s, you had Democrats saying we refuse to comply with civil rights law. In both instances, it is lawless Democrats attacking law enforcement. Gavin Newsom is proudly following the tradition of Bull Connor, another Democrat politician. The demonizing of law enforcement is central to who they are, central to who the party is. And now I want you to listen to Barack Obama in this podcast because he does a judo move that is classic Barack Obama. Give a listen.
The other side does the mean, angry,
demagoguery,
exclusive, us, them, divisive politics. That's their home court.
Yeah.
Our court is coming together. Our court is, look, a great example. Wasn't political. Bad Bunny's halftime show.
I knew you were going to say that. Yeah.
Well, it resonated. It was smart because it wasn't preaching. It was showing. It was demonstrating and displaying. This is what a community is.
By the way, I love that he's just admitting there, yes, this is a smart political move to have a political statement at the Super Bowl during halftime. He's admitting what we were saying, that it was a political decision. And he's like, it's a brilliant political operative move for the NFL to do this.
Well, look, I mentioned that what Obama was doing there is judo, and judo is flipping and using your opponent's weight against them. But it is also it is classic Orwellian. It is accusing the other side of doing what you are doing. Barack Obama, I think, in any fair history, he will not go down in history as this because most historians are leftists, so they will carve him into Mount Rushmore. But if you were fairly assessing his legacy, he is one of the most bitterly partisan leaders our country has ever had. And I think much of the rage, the anger we have of the two sides screaming at each other finds its origins in the Obama presidency. And I got to say, my principal reaction to that is one of regret of the lost opportunity. Listen, Barack Obama was elected as the first African-American president ever for a country that for a century plus had slavery. To elect a black president was a big damn deal. And Obama was given by history the opportunity to be what he claimed to be coming together, to be a healing president. And he chose just the opposite. He chose to just rub salt in the racial wounds, to divide. If you remember early on the beer summit he had where he demonized law enforcement right at the beginning of his presidency, you remember he described people in small towns in America as, quote, bitter and angry and clinging to their God and their guns. Yeah. You remember Michelle Obama saying that when Barack Obama was elected president, it was the first time she'd ever been proud of her country.
Yeah.
Like it is. And if you look at the fruit, listen, I believe that Barack Obama fundamentally is a Marxist. He was just a few years ahead of me at Harvard Law School. We did not overlap, but I think he is steeped in cultural Marxism. Now, when he was president, he was not vocal about all of that because the country at the time was not ready for it. But I think AOC is the spiritual grandchild of Barack Obama. I think Mondami is the spiritual grandchild of Barack Obama. And as you and I have talked about on the pod before, during the Biden presidency, maybe the most frequent question I got asked is who is running things? And the really terrifying answer, I don't, in fact, know. Yeah. I know it wasn't Joe Biden. He did not have the capacity to make decisions. Everyone knew that. The Democrats all knew that. Everyone knew that. The press knew that. They just didn't report on it. I don't know, but my theory is the person who was running things is the guy who we just played. I think Barack Obama was the grand puppet master. He had a bunch of young apparatchiks who are little Marxists that were his former staffers in the White House. And the open borders we saw, that was Barack Obama's intention. The radical DEI, the demonization of law enforcement, all of that is the fruits of Obama. By the way, the disastrous foreign policy, the embrace of Iran.
Iran sending cash on pallets, literally.
And listen, Obama sent $1.7 billion of cash on pallets in planes in the middle of the night. Joe Biden said, hold my beer, and flowed $100 billion to Iran. Now, when I say Joe Biden said it, really, the person who said, hold my beer was Barack Obama. He said, now I'm just really going to do it using the puppet Biden. But for him to accuse Republicans, the bitterness Obama has shown over and over and over again as he's using rhetoric. You know, he's just demonized ICE and called federal law enforcement agents totalitarian agents. And then he says, gosh, it's the other side that's mean, not like us. And actually, the word that I love that he says in that little clip is exclusionary. The right is exclusionary. And that's such a total lie. It is the left that is vicious. You must believe in exactly their orthodoxy, or you are excommunicated. Look at J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling, who by any measure is politically on the left, but she has this crazy view that women exist. And that to the intolerant leftists is unacceptable and she must be canceled. And you look at all of these Hollywood ninnies who were in the Harry Potter movies who won't associate with her. She literally made all of their careers.
She made them. Yeah, she
made
literally made
millions of dollars from when they were children, and their virtue is too great to be seen in the same room. And by the way, Barack Obama, in addition to being a hardcore leftist, and I think much of his worldview is actually anti-colonialist. If you look at it's why he hates Israel, because he views Israel as a colonial power. And it's why fundamentally he doesn't believe American power is legitimate. You know, he was asked as president, do you believe in American exceptionalism? And he says, sure, I do. Just like the Greeks believe in Greek exceptionalism and the British believe in British exceptionalism, which is to say, no, he does not, because American exceptionalism is recognizing there's something unique and extraordinary in the United States of America. There's never been a nation in the history of mankind that has been a greater force for good on planet Earth than the United States of America, and lightning would strike Barack Obama before he could utter that sentence.
Now, if you want to hear the rest of this conversation, you can go back and listen to the full podcast from earlier this week. Now on to story number 2. Let's get to the politics now, and we'll start with, you couldn't get any further from Duvall with Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom trashes America.
No, hold on a second. Gavin Newsom is the young punk in the bar.
That's true.
And by the way, you and I get to be, I think, in this story, Robert Duvall and Tommy Lee Jones.
Yes.
Although there is one thing that's stretching that, which is Tommy Lee Jones is silent in that scene, and Ben, you've never been silent in any scene.
No, that's also very true. That's why they pay me the big bucks, right? That's why they pay me the big bucks.
You know, like the old time lawyers, they pay you by the word.
Yeah, right. All right. So let's set the stage for this story. You and I do a show. We talk about it. We're going to play part of that in a second. But I want to know, when did you and how fast did you find out after he tweeted at us getting all cranky? He got his underwear in a wad is the way I described it. My phone, actually, I started getting random texts from people. And I'm like, what are you talking about? I was in a meeting. I'm like, what? Like, they're like, dude, Newsom's like throwing shade and he's really upset with you guys. And I was like, well, that's what I would expect from a California liberal, to be honest with you. When did you find out?
So our last podcast, we lit up AOC and Gretchen Whitmer and Gavin Newsom, all of whom went to Munich, to the Munich Security Conference, and they all made fools of themselves. They're all trying to run for president. They're all trying to be impressive, and they all just like totally beclowned themselves. And AOC and Whitmer showed they know nothing about foreign policy or national security. Gavin Newsom did something different. He just decided to demonize law enforcement, and he made a statement in particular. He said no president has ever before federalized the National Guard, and that's just laughably false. So I want to play the clip from what we said in the very last podcast, and this is the clip that so triggered young Gavin. Listen.
Let's be very clear, Senator. That is Gavin Newsom comparing American law enforcement to Nazis.
Yep. Which by the way, is what Obama was doing too. By the way, just like AOC and Whitmer, Newsom is apparently thoroughly historically illiterate. He said we've never seen National Guards federalized in the states. I guess his history book does not discuss the civil rights movement. He's never heard of a president named Dwight D. Eisenhower. He's never heard of sending the National Guard into southern states when Democrats who refused to desegregate schools resisted. Eisenhower sent the National Guard in. The pattern is the same. In this instance, you have Democrats who are saying we refuse to comply with federal immigration law. Then you had, in the 50s and 60s, you had Democrats saying we refuse to comply with civil rights law. In both instances, it is lawless Democrats attacking law enforcement. Gavin Newsom is proudly following the tradition of Bull Connor, another Democrat politician.
That's all that you really said, and then his response was a total freak out.
Yeah, so Gavin on Twitter, he sent out a tweet, and like all good Democrats, when caught being full of crap, he responds by attacking and screaming, "You cannot criticize me." And in particular, what he said is, Ted Cruz calling a dyslexic person illiterate is a new low, even for him. Now, let's start out. First of all, who the hell knew Gavin Newsom was dyslexic? I didn't know that. Did you know that, Ben?
No, I did not. And you know, it's funny. I'm dyslexic, but that doesn't mean you're stupid. By the way,
I didn't know you were dyslexic either.
Yeah, because I don't use it as a crutch. But since Gavin's bringing it up, it's some you went off the rails on him. Like, how dare you do that? Like, I'm dyslexic doesn't mean you're dumb. It doesn't make you mean stupid statements because you're dyslexic. Like, you can still be intelligent and be dyslexic, buddy.
So Gavin's defense is you're not allowed to criticize me because I have a disability. That is, if there's anything to embody the idiocy of today's Democrat Party, that does it pretty well. So it's interesting. I sent two responses. The first response I sent was, I didn't say you couldn't read, you clown, with the emoji of the clown. I said you were, quote, historically illiterate because you apparently have no idea that Eisenhower federalized the National Guard to stop Democrat governors from defying federal law. Specifically, on September 23, 1957, President Eisenhower issued Executive Order 10730, federalizing the Arkansas National Guard and ordering U.S. Army troops, the 101st Airborne Division, to Little Rock, Arkansas.
Yep.
This action broke the blockade by Democrat Governor Orville Faubus, allowing the Little Rock Nine to desegregate Central High School. Now, Gavin had no response to that. Now, I got to tell you, let me bring you a little bit inside the scenes. So my team had a different response that they suggested, and I have a whole social media communications team. They had a different response. Their different response was to send out a tweet with a GIF and a GIF of Zoolander.
There's a mini video, just so everybody that doesn't know what that is. Like, some people may not realize what that is. It's like the mini little video kind of thing you send out.
So it's Ben Stiller as Zoolander, and he's looking down at a sign that says, the Gavin Newsom Center for what kids who don't know what historically illiterate means and who want to learn to do other stuff good too. So that my team put that together. I did not put that together. I saw that and I sent mine instead. And then my team got all upset and they're like, wait, you didn't like ours. And I said, you know what? Let's have a competition. Send that one too. Let's put them both out.
And see which one wins.
Both out in the internet and see which one wins. So as of, we're now 12:21 a.m., the Ben Stiller GIF, which was clever, has gotten 397,000 views.
Okay.
The one I wrote has gotten 1 million views.
Yeah. So how long are you going to haze them on this data that you have that's undisputed?
Okay. So not to brag too much, but I did beat the team by 250%.
Just for everyone, I want to take them behind the scenes. When Senator, when you are correct and your team has these moments, I enjoy not being on that team. I enjoy being a spectator. Okay. But I do know the
But hold on. I'm going to be gracious for a minute. I'm going to be gracious for a minute. Although I got 2.5 times as much coverage as they did in terms of people watching it, I will say the comments on their GIF, the folks that saw it loved it. So I'm just going to go through a few. Joe Lonsdale, good friend of ours, big tech entrepreneur. He's been on the podcast. He did the crying emoji. Another guy said whoever came up with this meme needs a raise. Another guy said, sir, this is a 10 for 10 post. It's too bad Newsom won't be able to read it. Another person had a GIF from The Simpsons. Hello, 911. I'd like to report a murder.
Yeah.
The volume of comments, the X trolling continues. Good. A picture of Trump toasting. Crying Trump emojis. Cruz clearly won this round. Blah, ha, 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 ha. It's like this put you in my top 5 favorite politicians. I'm really depressed. Who are the other 4?
Yeah, right.
Well done, good sir. Well done. Spitting out. He went to school at the Leering School.
So the team is going to get accolades for quality over quantity.
I gave them that. Actually, their comments, the people who saw it loved it. They're like, this is a friggin' great comment. And so, you know what? I said, I'm glad we sent them both.
Yeah.
We reached more people. Mine had kind of substance. I'm going to tell you another admission. You know how I wrote my tweet?
Yeah, how?
You do? How?
No, I'm saying how. Tell me how.
I know you said yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I know you wrote it, but I can what people don't understand about you is when you can check out of any conversation if you have something clever that you want to get out into the world of the internet, as you described earlier. I would call it X, social media. I'm just gonna hit you on age there, like putting it out into the internet. Yes, okay, Al Gore, he created it back in the day. But there's nothing scarier than watching TC at dinner, just quietly over there and disengaging from the conversation for about 5 minutes. And you know what's coming. It's going to be something really entertaining on the internet. I can promise you that.
So my team had sent me this gift. Monday night, I was playing hoops. And as you know, I play hoops twice a week. And so it was about 3 hours of hoops. And I had, after a couple of games, we lost one game. And so I didn't hit my free throws. So I was sitting waiting for the next game. And so I typed this responding, and it's actually a very cool thing about AI. So the first part of it that I sent, which is because you apparently have no idea that Eisenhower federalized the National Guard to stop Dem governors from defying federal law. I wrote that.
Yeah.
But then I went to Google and I typed in Eisenhower federalizing National Guard because, I wanted a little more research. And Google AI, so the second paragraph of my tweet was written by Google AI. And so the paragraph specifically on September 23rd, 1957, so I didn't know the date until I went into Google AI.
Yeah.
President Eisenhower issued Executive Order 10730. I didn't know the number of the 10730. Like the whole details of the second paragraph. The beauty of Google AI, it took me 30 seconds to pull those details.
It took you missing your free throws, then giving you the opportunity.
Okay,
then
that's
giving
true.
you the opportunity.
If I hit my damn free throws. All right, punk.
None of this would have ever happened. None of this would have ever happened if it wasn't for you sucking at free throw shooting that night. I just want to be clear about what brought this opportunity together.
Let me just say for the record, what happened the last time you played hoops with me?
You or someone else decided to break my finger. It's still crooked. If you can't see it right there, America, there it is. That is a crooked finger right there.
I'm just saying you were a college Division I varsity athlete. And
to be clear, Lonsdale would back me up on this. I taped it up and played like a man.
You did. I agree.
Yes.
You did not crawl up in a ball and whimper. But I'm just saying, you broke bones when you decided to hoops with
and I still hit my shots. You guys don't play fair. You get older, you start grabbing for stuff. You can't see straight if it's a hand or
That's how old guys play.
That's how old guys play. Exactly. So you miss your free throws. AI came and saved the day. You put out the tweet. Gavin shoots back, and that's how we got to where we are right now.
But think about it. Even like a year ago, to put together the details of that tweet, I would have a year ago probably, if I wanted to have a little substance in the tweet, I might have sent a text
get your team involved.
To my team, said, hey, research, give me the exact details. I know Eisenhower federalized the National Guard, but give me the specifics.
Tell me when, who, what, when, where, and why, right?
And someone would have researched it, they would have sent it to me, and then I would have included it. And instead, I just did it in between games. Like the whole thing took me maybe 3 minutes to type.
So when did you see the Newsom response? Was it after missing more free throws, or was it later on?
It was before the game, and to be honest, I only sat one game. I missed free throws and won most of the rest of the time, and the couple times I lost, I hit my free throws. But I did once miss my damn free throws. But the beauty of it is it literally. So I had seen it before I started playing, and I'm like, no, and I'm sort of, I don't know about you, but like. When I'm thinking about something, I often will sort of put it out of my mind and let the back of my brain process it.
You ponder for a little bit, you go back, and then you come back to it, yeah.
And it was sort of like, literally as I'm playing hoops, I'm chewing on what kind of response I want to have. And so then when I had a break, I'm like, all right, let me type it out.
All right, I got to ask you, is Gavin Newsom on your top 5 liberals that you would love one-on-one debate with?
Oh, look, I don't know. We talked about in the last podcast how I think Newsom and AOC are probably the top 2 Democratic contenders for the presidential nomination. We'll see. Neither of them know what the hell they're talking about. So I feel confident we will see them called to account.
As before, if you want to hear the rest of this conversation on this topic, you can go back and download the podcast from earlier this week to hear the entire thing. I want to get back to the big story, number 3 of the week you may have missed. All right, Senator, so it was a very interesting week. There was a big back and forth. I don't think it's an interview. I think it's a debate that had a lot of fanfare. It was Tucker Carlson going to Israel to have a sit down with the U.S. ambassador, dear friend of both of ours, Mike Huckabee. I was rooting for Mike because you knew what Tucker was going to do. But before we even got any of the interview out, and maybe it's because it didn't go well for Tucker, we'll see. But what he did do is had a great distraction claiming he was detained in Israel at the airport, and thank goodness he got safe out of the country. Turns out it was all crap and a lie.
Yeah, look, I got to say, Tucker Carlson's descent into madness has been tragic and horrific to watch. You and I have both known Tucker a long, long time.
Yeah.
I've known him probably 25 years. And, you know, there was a time when he would vocally defend Israel, when he had his Fox TV show during COVID and the lockdowns. His monologue every night was the single best thing on television, and it was destination TV. Well, he got fired from Fox, and he's gone into the kind of the dark hinterlands of the internet, and he's turned really twisted. He is, number one, obsessed with Israel. It seems like if you are a Jew-hating bigot, you too can be a guest on Tucker's show. He will find every person that says the Jews are responsible for terrible things. By the way, if you're a Nazi apologist, if you think Adolf Hitler was very, very cool, you too can be on Tucker's show. By the way, if you're an Islamist, if you think Hamas is not a terrorist organization, as Tucker has said, you too can be on Tucker's show. If you hate Donald Trump because his show now is attacking almost every foreign policy decision Donald Trump makes, you too can be on Tucker's show. And he has said the people he hates most in the world. Are they the jihadists who murder Americans? No, those are the people he actually praises.
Not Al-Qaeda, not Hamas, not Hezbollah.
Who are they? They are Christian Zionists. He said there's no one on planet Earth. By the way, if you are a Christian, and B, you believe Israel should exist. That's what it means to be a Zionist. You know, a lot of the Jew haters, they're scared of actually admitting they're Jew haters. So instead of saying the word Jew, they say Zionist because they think that sounds
scary.
So much more like Zionist means should Israel exist.
Yeah.
I got to say, I am proudly a Zionist, and I'm proudly a Christian. And if you're a Christian and you believe the nation of Israel should exist, there are 57 Muslim countries in the world. If you think the Jewish people should have one country, just one. Mind you, the modern state of Israel was formed after the Holocaust, after the Nazis murdered over 6 million Jews in committing a genocide. And the phrase never again meant something, that there would be a homeland, that at least there would be one place for Jews to flee to. If you think Jews ought to exist, well, then Tucker hates you more than anybody else on planet Earth, and he's identified two people in particular that he hates the most, and that is Mike Huckabee and me. And so he went to interview Mike Huckabee. I'm sure they're fireworks. We'll see what happened in it. And he touched down. It was the most bizarre thing. He landed in Israel. He didn't leave the airport, so I guess the interview was at the airport. There were,
and it sounded like that's because he was afraid of his safety or something. Like he was trying to say, I don't feel safe in this country and I need to be able to leave at a moment's notice, so I'll only do the interview at the airport. Right. That is what the team seemed to be wanting to get out there. They didn't feel safe. They didn't think that Israel would be a place they would be able to be, free or welcome or whatever, so we're just going to stay in the airport. But meanwhile, the same guy, they'll go to Russia that detains Americans on a regular basis and will happily put out grocery store propaganda on their behalf and travel anywhere in Russia that they would let him go.
And by the way, interview Putin, interview the president of Iran. The president of Iran is actively trying to murder President Trump right now. And Tucker did an interview where he was practically rubbing his leg and gazing adoringly like a lovesick 16-year-old sucking soda straws with her crush at the soda fountain.
And don't forget, he buys houses in Qatar, right? Let's not forget that one.
He has literally purchased a home in Qatar. And by the way, I get asked routinely, is Tucker being paid millions of dollars from Qatar? I don't know. I have no evidence of that. I will tell you it would explain an awful lot, because if you play what Tucker said on TV for years, and he's done an about face on everything, money would certainly explain an awful lot. I don't know why. I just know that he is attacking Israel and Jews every day. He is praising Islamists, and he is attacking capitalism. He's praised Mondami repeatedly. He's praised Maduro. I mean, it's a crazy descent. When he went to Israel, there were some Christians in Israel who said, come visit us. We'll show you that Christians are protected and prospering in Israel, that the people who are persecuting Christians are the Islamists who are persecuting Christians. He's focused on, well, Bethlehem, the Christian population is under assault. Well, that's true because the Palestinian Authority is in charge of Bethlehem, not Israel.
Yeah.
He refused to
By the
meet
way, I
with
just got
Christians
back
there.
from Israel. The number of people that are there on a pilgrimage as Christians is massive. The last, and by the way, I forgot to tell you this. I, too, Senator, and I probably should have put this out, seeing the video of Tucker Carlson Airport, I was detained as well when I left. I just can't believe you didn't come save me. I'm a little disappointed. I thought you had my back here, but I was detained in Israel because they checked my passport and they held me for a second to the side. So I just want to be clear: if Tucker Carlson was detained, I was detained as well.
Here's the statement Tucker put out: "Quote: Men who identified themselves as airport security took our passports, hauled our executive producer into a side room, and then demanded to know what we spoke to Ambassador Huckabee about." Now, I got to say, this ridiculous claim that he put out was promptly refuted, A, by the video of his interaction. He's in the airport, he's laughing, he's taking pictures and selfies with people. B, by a statement from the government of Israel saying this is totally false. And C, by the U.S. Embassy. But actually, the best refutation to this is there is a fellow online, I don't know him, but he's a comedian, and he's a comedian named Ami Kozak who does this great Tucker impression, and it's hysterical. If you're watching it on video, you really should watch it on video because his hair looks like Tucker and he does it. If not, give a listen because this is satire. It's not real, but this is a comedian portraying Tucker being, quote, detained by Israeli airport.
Shalom.
Hi.
Okay, you pack your own bags or somebody pack for you?
I don't even know what that means, actually. I mean, I packed some things. I certainly packed a lot of things, like a lot. And I probably overpacked. I always tend to overpack. I bring everything. And I'm sure other people pack for me, too. So
Well, we have to ask to make sure, no one put a weapon or something you don't know.
Well, I'm proud of owning guns. I own lots of guns. I'm not going to apologize for that, like at all. I own guns.
You have one here?
And so I'm not going to apologize for that.
Okay, but did you pack it?
I'm not going to do it.
Okay. What do you do for work?
Oh, I'm a journalist. I'm a journalist, a commentator. I talk to people. I have conversations with people.
Journalist. Okay. Do you ever lie?
Oh, all the time. I lie every day.
Amen?
I lie every day, and I'll continue to do it. I'm sure I'll continue to do that. And I hate it. I hate that I do that, but I'm certain that I do it.
You're lying right now about your intentions?
Oh, yeah. And I'm very honest about that.
You're honest that you're lying. Okay. You with a major network?
No, we're independent.
Okay. And who is funding you?
I'd rather not say. That's none of your business. It's not your business at all.
It's a secret?
Actually, I don't have to disclose that.
Okay. You traveled to the Middle East at all in the last 6 months?
I have.
Okay.
Yes.
Where you go?
But,
Which places you travel?
well,
And why do you go there? No, let's go.
I went to places. They were nice. I wanted to talk to people and see people and have conversations with people.
Okay. Any of the people you talk to have any connections to radical terrorist organizations?
I mean,
Really?
last I checked, they were all political organizations.
The what?
Any of those regimes were political organizations. Last I checked.
Okay. This funny to you? Are you Jewish?
No, I'm not Jewish. I certainly. There's nothing wrong with being Jewish. Some of my favorite people are Jewish. Some of my very absolutely favorite people are Jewish. Some of my least favorite people are Christian Zionists. I hate them. I'm appalled by them. Actually, really appalled. But I'm not going to apologize for who I am. I'm a white person. I'm a Christian. I'm a man, and I'm not going to apologize for that. Period.
Okay. Couple more questions. Where are you from?
Oh, I came from Maine.
What is Maine?
Yeah, I live across from my parents' graves.
Wow. Okay, for Maine, what's the population?
Oh, I see what you did.
Why not?
And so...
So what brings you to Israel?
Well, I'm here to interview Ambassador Mike Huckabee.
You know Ambassador Mike Huckabee?
Very well, actually. I know him a lot.
From where you know him?
And I also have no idea who he is, at all. I barely even know who that is. I don't even know who he is.
Ma?
And so I'm here to interview him.
So wait, you do know him or you don't know him? אני לא מבין. Okay, anyone give you a gift or something to take to Israel with you?
I mean, I got a house from Qatar.
Why you get that?
They're an ally. Last I checked, they're an ally. They're one of our closest allies, actually.
Okay, we're gonna need your passport, please.
Why do you need to see my passport? Is it because I'm a Christian?
What you saying?
Did you just spit at me?
Ma?
Did you just spit at me?
We need your passport.
Oh.
Your passport, please.
Well, I'm certainly not going to give you my passport. I would never do that, like at all.
This is standard.
Hey,
I'll take it to a supervisor.
No. They're detaining me.
We
Stop.
just need a passport.
Get off me. This is just like the demon.
Ma?
This is just like the demon.
Ay, why? Iזה משוגע.
Look, I'm not sure that's satire. That might actually be real.
As always, thank you for listening to Verdict with Senator Ted Cruz. Ben Ferguson with you. Don't forget to download my podcast, and you can listen to my podcast every other day you're not listening to Verdict, or each day when you listen to Verdict afterwards. I'd love to have you as a listener to, again, the Ben Ferguson podcast, and we will see you back here on Monday morning.